Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, sports, music, news, lifestyle, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is the creator and founder of a blog called Elite Urbanite. We're with Tiffani Rooney. Tiffani, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I mean, it's one of those things where your blog kind of touches on a lot of things in pop culture and in music. What were kind of the inspirations that made you start this blog, Elite Urbanite?
So mainly two reasons. I've kind of always grown up around pop culture. It's always been like instilled in my life because like my dad works in entertainment.
Correct.
So because like he's always kind of like pulled me into it so I could kind of get a feel of, you know, how I like to call it a machine, like the whole pop culture machine works.
Absolutely.
So ever since like I was a kid, I've been obsessed with it. Like I remember when I was like around 6 years old, he was like in a meeting with somebody and he pulled me in and was like, hey, like, you know, come listen to 3 of these songs. And like, I don't even remember what the other 2 were, but the third one, I was like, you know, I think this one at 6 years old, I'm like, this one's going to be a hit. And that song happened to be Jenny from the Block by
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, one and only Jennifer Lopez. So since then, I've always been like, okay, I feel like I know what I'm doing. Like, you know, I know how this all works, and it's just been great. And then also, kind of the neighborhood I grew up in, I didn't really see myself in. Like, I didn't see, like, you know, a lot of young Black women who were into, like, different pop culture things. Everybody was kind of into one type of thing, so I kind of built my own little world around it. And I've just been, you know, just so into it ever since. Like the other day, I think the 1999 VMAs were on, and I was like, oh my God, in sync with Britney Spears. I was like, oh, I was in my apartment just like, oh my God, like fangirling again, like I'm 7.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you mentioned, you know, Corey Rooney, a very well-known music producer, is your father. I mean, you're doing the blog and you're doing your own path, but have you ever thought about maybe going into music production? Have you ever had a conversation like that with your dad at all?
No, you know, I am such a huge like music head. I have posters of all different kinds behind me. I have like all my different vinyls and everything. Like I have a great appreciation for music. But I don't know. I've never wanted to, and I don't think I have that ability to just like sit down at a piano and like break out a tune or something like that. You know,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I always joke with him that I'm the real Corey Rooney because his middle name. So his full name is Mark Corey Rooney, and I'm actually named after him. So my full name is Corey Tiffani Rooney. So I'm like, I'm the real one. I know what I'm doing.
No, absolutely. You've also had a chance to also kind of work in the entertainment industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about that as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. So, first when I came out here, I was kind of like finding my footing, and I, you know, reached out to some people I know and ended up working as an office production assistant for a little show called Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So
Little show.
Yeah. Might not have heard of it. But so day one, they're like, okay, here's this envelope. I need you to go to Chloe's house and just drop this off. I'm like, me? Like, you need me to go to her house or whatever? So that was, you know, I was just kind of always thrown into things, but in the best way. Like, I learned so much. Absolutely. I remember even one day, it was like over the weekend, and they were like, hey, you know, we need some extra bodies on set. I was like, yeah, sure. You know, what's it for? And they're like, oh, you know, just Kylie's birthday at Bootsy Bellows. I was like, well, yeah, you let me know what time, what I need to bring, whatever. So it was always a good time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Is there a type of pop culture that you enjoy featuring on your blog more than others? You say you're a big music head, but I mean, Elite Urbanite is something I checked out the blog. It's awesome. There's a lot of cool things on it. Is there something that's kind of like the bread and butter for Tiffani Rooney in terms of like what you like to talk about and what you like to promote on the blog?
Yeah, I would say definitely really like I love the 90s and like the early 2000s because of course that's like when I grew up, but I especially love like women of that time and like certain artists of that time, or even just figures of that time. Like as crazy as he is, I love Dennis Rodman and like what he stood for back then. And like, his crazy hairstyles and everything, or I love Prince and, just I like eccentric people, that like to be themselves.
No, absolutely. Do you kind of find that, are there any specific kind of trends in the entertainment industry right now? Because it's a crazy world we're living in right now. But have you noticed kind of like certain like genres of music becoming more popular than others? Have you noticed something about how people are filming certain things? Like what kind of trends have you kind of noticed so far, like in the last like year or so in the entertainment industry?
It's a good question. I definitely think that like social media has changed the game so much. Even like I mentioned before with that, the 99 VMAs, like there was no social media or anything like that. So people were, even though they were expressing themselves, it was like kind of still in a box.
Yep.
So, social media, you could put anything up. You could put so many different types of music up and you can reach so many ears and so many different people. So, yeah.
So I do have to ask you though, like, what are you listening to lately?
Man, that is the hardest question. Like, that's why I call my blog like eclectic and culturally aware, because I listen to pretty much everything except for country music. That's the only thing that's not going to be on my playlist.
Do you listen to rock and metal then?
Oh yeah, I've got a Motorhead poster right
okay,
here.
All right, now, okay, okay. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Listen to all sorts of things.
I think one of the best. Everyone always asks me because I'm all over the map with what I listen to as well. But the best concert I've ever been to is kind of a toss up between Green Day and Metallica. Like I saw like Metallica live is just like
amazing. I'm
just
sure.
nonstop energy and headbanging the whole time.
Yeah. Oh man.
What was the best concert you've ever been to?
Okay, so
give me a top three. Can you give me a top three?
Okay. Yes. All right. So Britney Spears and NSYNC. That was like, when I was a kid, obviously, I was like in awe. I was like, oh my God, they're real. They're on the, on the stage. I saw, because I'm originally from New York. Mm-hmm. So I saw Eminem and Jay-Z play at Yankee Stadium. That was incredible because you got like these two legends and you got like a legendary stadium. And then I saw Kanye West a couple years when it was Life of Pablo tour. Yes. I went to that with my brother. That was sick. And it was the last concert of like that whole thing because then he canceled the rest. I was like, ooh, good timing.
That's amazing. There's so many good concerts that I used to go to. For your blog, do you have kind of a goal in mind with it, bro? Obviously, this is like a passion project. This is something that you put a lot of time in. But what do you want to do exactly with Elite Urbanite?
Yeah. So I would like people to be able to look at my blog and be like, wow, okay, I can relate to this person on like, a surface level. Whereas I could only look at celebrities back in the day and like try as best as I could to relate to them. Mm-hmm. I've even had so many people like from high school and different things were like, wow, I didn't know you were dealing with this or, interested in that thing. So that's been really cool to see. So I'm hoping that I'm able to, speak on different panels, speak on podcasts, like this, and just get the word out and, make people feel good about themselves and be able to relate to different people on many different levels.
If you would describe Elite Urbanite with three different words, what words would they be, Tiffani? And you can think about it for a little bit.
Oh, I know. It's eclectic and culturally aware. That is my...
Oh, man. That's amazing. Well, Tiffani, thank you so much for chatting on Popternative for a little bit. I really appreciated it.
Yeah, I loved it. Had a good time.
Absolutely. So plug away. Like, where can people follow you on social media? Where can they check out Elite Urbanite? Just plug away.
Yeah, you can check me out. I've got mostly everything's on Instagram, so that's just at Elite Urbanite. And then I post my my blog posts where I share like advice or sometimes fun things like playlists and fashions to look at or mimic or fashion from my favorite TV shows. That's also on EliteUrbanite.com.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Well, seriously, congratulations with the blog, and I hope it gets bigger and bigger for you. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative. Be sure to check out Tiffani Rooney's blog at Elite Urbanite. Some good stuff there for pop culture fans. And youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes for Popternative. The audio onlys will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, this is Tiffani Rooney from Elite Urbanite and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.